Tov, B'siyata Dishmaya, we are learning in Biyam Darkecha, in the chapter on Rosh Hashana, Parak Aleph, page Ayin Tet, 79, talking about what is the work of the Shofar, revealing the unity of Hashem in this world. Right? Every Jew gets really excited towards this mitzvah of hearing a shofar. Right? And we have to understand, obviously, if it's a mitzvah from the Torah, there's obviously a lot of depth behind it. And we get to a point where we want to be able to say, there's a pasuk that says, Ashrei ha'am yodea teruah. Fortunate is the nation who knows teruah, who knows the blast of the shofar, right? So do we know the blast of the shofar? Hopefully we'll, at the end of this class, we'll know a little bit more about what it means to actually blow a shofar. What are we doing and what's happening when we do it? Because obviously if God commanded us to take a ram's horn and to blow into it, it's not just to make a noise, right? It's obviously not just to make some kind of noise in the synagogue for 30 days and to wake people up. So what is going on and how do we get it in? Just to introduce this idea, the world was created in Rosh Hashana, meaning man was created in Rosh Hashana, right? The creation of man is the purpose of the world, right? Obviously, the human being is the ultimate creature, right? No one is higher. Take a kosher person that doesn't have sins, put him in the most dangerous jungle in the world, no animal will touch him. Because the animals know inherently that humans are the height of creation, right? Who knows if you pick a wicked person, you put him in the jungle, what's going to be? But a clean kosher person, no animal in the world would ever touch him without a degree from up above, right? Because they even understand that we are the height of creation. But with that said, as us, forget animals now, us, since that day of creation, what is the reality? It's a reality that, so to say, as me as a creation, I can feel myself separate from Hashem. I was created, I'm here now, right? I'm part of the world, Hashem's somewhere over there. Me, kind of, I feel separate, right? From the day of the creation of man, the sixth day of creation, all of a sudden there was this reality that there's a being that can feel separate from Hashem. And we obviously know that that's not the truth. We obviously know that that's not the ultimate truth. And our goal is to try to get back to that, right? So there's two levels of where a creation could be. The first level is that a person looks externally at the world all day long. That's what he's looking at. He's looking at this world. And since with our physical eyes, we don't see Hashem bringing down shefa and light and vitality into the whole entire creation at any given moment, then it's as if I'm kind of my own separate entity, right? I'm alive, I'm moving, I'm doing, I build, I destroy, I create, all these different things. It's like as if I am something myself. That's one way of doing it. But of course, even on that level, a person who understands that he's still a creation to himself, and that's his understanding for whatever reason, right? He's still on that level. Obviously, he understands that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem, is the creator, and he is ruling the world at any given moment, right? Even if I see myself as some kind of separate entity, I still recognize there's a king. Oh, he's a king and a creator somewhere over there, right? But I don't deny it, I don't negate it. On this level, you feel yourself, you sense yourself, and you know that Hashem created the world. And then the second he created the world, then the world already has its own reality, right? It's on as if the world is like created and put on autopilot. So too, after Hashem gave power to us as creations to work and to do actions in this world, if maybe it might seem that the power is ours, right? But obviously that's not the truth. Obviously that's the truth, but this is the level. Like, Hashem created me. I have the power to do everything in my life. And I have this book that he told me to follow, right? Obviously, for a lot of people in the world, this is an extremely high level. For Jews, this is the first level, right? And it's obviously not the goal. That you feel that you were created and that Hashem gave you power to go and act in the world. And there's this book that you have to follow, right? There's a Torah. All of that is very external. The higher level is that a person understands and feels that he has no reality to himself at all, right? I'm nothing by myself. I don't exist by myself. And I look at the internal aspect of everything in the life, everything I go through in life, that everything is existing and alive and here in this world by way of the power of Hashem, and Hashem's light is being revealed by way of the creations, and they are only living by way of His light at any given moment. And since that's the case, and I don't have any reality to myself at all, and neither do any of the creations, then they're not something separate, they're not something individual, independent of Hashem. Since they receive their life force from Hashem, from the Creator at any given moment, then at the depths, as if they're not some separate entity, right? If at any given moment I'm completely dependent on Hashem, then clearly I'm not something to myself. So too, the power was given to them, but the power is the light of Hashem that is being enclosed in your actions and in you, but it's not yours at all. It's not our light. It's not my light, right? And all it is a deposit in my hand, right? Like we know with money. Our money is not ours. Hashem put money in our bank account to do mitzvot with it, to do the right thing with that money, right? One side to live with it, to be able to buy and provide for our family and or ourselves, right? But mainly to be able to do good mitzvot and to do good things with that money. So too is our life, our vitality, the light that's flowing through us at any given moment. It's not ours. It's Hashem's, deposited in us to be able to do what we need to do, right? So, with that said, then we have a choice, us as creations, in order to understand what is the true reality, right? Our choice lies in what is the true reality. After creation, Hashem comes and He created this kind of reality where, so to say, I have free will. Is the creation, what is my free will? As me as a human being, am I going to go after what I see with my eyes? Am I going to go with the external reality of the world? Do I want to feel like I'm something separate from Hashem, that I'm independent of Hashem, and to live according to nature and live according to the Gashmiut, to the materialism of this world? Even though I understand that Hashem gave me a Torah and I have to follow Torah and I have to do mitzvot, right? But if it's in the way of external, meaning there's a king in the kingdom and I know that the king brings down laws and I don't want to get in trouble, so I follow the king's rules, right? Is that how I want to live in an external way, right? That the reality of life is me, but there's this king. Obviously, that's not the goal, right? But a person who doesn't want to live like this, and he actually wants to say, I want Hashem. I don't want to, and I can't be something of my own power. It's not even true, and I don't want that. I don't want to be separate from Hashem. And I'm going to put an effort to try to build and develop my connection and my relationship with Hashem, to be connected to Him until I manage to nullify myself and to be included in His light. Meaning that I realize it's not about me, right? Rabbi David Aaron always says, I don't want to be someone. I want to be some of the one, right? I don't want to be something to myself. I know that that's not true. I would love to be some of the one. Another piece of Hashem being revealed in the world, where it's not about me, it's about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because when a person recognizes that Hashem is all of the vitality and the only true reality in this world, then the person doesn't want to live the external reality of that. He doesn't want to live as if it's about me. Rather, he wants to go into the true level. Ein od milvado. There's nothing besides Hashem at all, and to feel completely that throughout my life, I'm living a relationship with Hashem, and it's all about Him, and the focus is on Him. This is what it's called to understand the yichud, to understand the oneness of Hashem, right? That I can be something in this world, and I can do actions, and that is unified completely with Hashem, and it's not a separate reality. It's not as if I do things and Hashem's over there watching me. No. I'm a ray of the sun, the Havdil, right? Hashem is not a sun, God forbid. We don't pray to the suns, but I'm an extension of the expression of the eminence of the light that is coming out from the Creator. I'm not some kind of light separate of that. And this is the test that we have as creations. Since the sixth day of creation, since the creation of Adam Arishon, this is the test that we're in. It's what he was going through. It's what Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov were going through. It's what the tribes were going through. It's what Moshe was going through. It's what every single human being in the history of mankind, Goy or Jew, religious or not, is going through. Do you want to be all about you? You're the main character? Or is HaKadosh Baruch Hu a main character and you are helping to expose him more, to get him out there more? And if you merit to stand in this chest and to connect to Hashem, and you're not okay with being some kind of separate entity, something separate from Hashem, and you scream by way of the shofar like we're going to explain later, then Hashem starts to illuminate his face to you, meaning shine his countenance on you, and he starts to go into a relationship with you of love, love that's not dependent on anything, unconditional love. And then the person, us as a creation, will merit to nullify ourselves to the Creator in truth, and to be included into his life, to his light. And that's the true success, the highest success that a creation could ever get to. And that's living Orach Chaim, right? Living with the light of life. The truth is, the whole entire year we're going through this test. But on Rosh Hashana, it's the main test. It's the main, right? Out of all 355 days, that is the day, that is the main aspect of it. Because on Rosh Hashana is the creation of man, like we said. And this is the day that man, so to say, was given an ego, was given some kind of presence to himself, some feeling of individuality, of independence. So to say, separate from godliness. So to say, right? The emphasis on so to say. It's all a test. And since on this day it was created an ego, since man was created on this day and it was a reality of now you can, so to say, feel separate and independent of Hashem, then this is the root of the test. The sixth day of creation is the root of the test, right? Which is Rosh Hashanah. That is, if a person is going to stand and wants to stand in the reality where you feel ego and you feel like I'm important and I'm the one I'm separate from Hashem. It's about me, you know. Hashem created the world. That means that I'm individual and I'm important, right? Or does the person merit to nullify themselves and all of their ego and be one and need to be included into the true light of Hashem, and to feel as if, again, I'm an extension of the light of Hashem and I'm not something separate. What's the goal of this test? So that we should crown Hashem over the whole entire world, all of our aspects of our life, and to be included in him with love. The truth is, on Rosh Hashanah, we come to crown Hashem on us from a place of desire. I want to be included into Hashem's life. I want Hashem to be the king over the world. For sure, it already is the case, right? Like we said, even the person who feels himself as a separate entity, he realizes that there's a king and laws and what to do, right? But it's mainly about him, and I have to follow these laws that were given down. On Rosh Hashanah, it's about, no, it's not about me. Hashem is king over everything, and I want only to be connected to him in everything that I'm doing in my life, and to reveal him and to be nullified to him, and I want to really live a true life unified with Hashem. Therefore, Hashem created the world in this kind of way that the creation, the people, have the ability to feel themselves separate, and then you can choose to pick Hashem's kingship with an actual desire from a place of ratzon, because I want to do it. Since Hashem created the world and He's giving it life and existence at any given moment, and everything is dependent completely on Hashem, then it must be, right, that He's the king and He is everything. How is it going to be that you can have the creations revealing Hashem is king and that they want to be included in Him? Therefore, Hashem Yitbarach says, I give you this feeling of feeling separate, right, so that you could choose. And you can choose what reality do you want to live in, an external one or an internal one. And that's where our test is on Rosh Hashanah. And if Hashem crowns, if the creation, if us as people, we crown Hashem on Rosh Hashanah, we say, Ani rotzeh Hashem yitbarach lamelech. I want Hashem as my king. Meaning, I don't want to feel as if I'm something separate of Hashem, that only receives power from Hashem all the time. I want a proper, true connection with Him. I want a relationship with Him. And I want to feel and live Him out, the truth, this true inner reality that Hashem is the only reality, and that He is giving life and light and vitality to every single aspect of creation at any given moment. And you say to Hashem, Otcha Malki ani lo ozev, you, my king, I'm not leaving, because I know that you are the only true reality, and all of the ego that there is in the world is just vanity, it's just lies, it's not true, it's false. And I'm choosing a good life, a true life, from a desire and from love and from choice. I want to crown you king over me, and I want to recognize that you are everything in the world, and there's nothing besides you. This is true emunah. This is felt emunah, right? And the more that you understand the oneness of Hashem, this is the reality that you should be trying to get to. And then you have the perfection of creation. This was the goal of creation. Hashem had this lust that he should have a dwelling place where? In the lower realms, meaning he wants to dwell and be revealed in you. There is no lower world than this world, right? So where does Hashem want to dwell? Where is the lust of Hashem to be revealed? Here, not somewhere else. Here in your actions. So what's the first thing that we have to do? Kabbalat ol malchut shamayim, to take upon ourselves the fact that there is a yoke of heaven, that there is what to be doing at all times, and the Torah is laying it out for us. So on Rosh Hashana is the day that we were created from anew. Every Rosh Hashana is the 6th day of creation, meaning man is being created again and again. Hashem renews the creation every single day, constantly, not just once a day, constantly. I heard once that, I think Rav Turjman said, I'm not sure, that when we blink, the speed that we blink is a little bit longer than the speed that Hashem renews the world. Right? So Hashem is constantly renewing the world, but our sight, the way that we see, it's that little bit longer than the creation. That's why, like, if you see a movie, right, if you record a TV or you see a film and you slow it down, the frames, and you start to see that it's pictures and it's not actually a video, right? No, there's no such thing as video in the world. It's just really fast pictures, right? So too, our eyes, that's how we see the world. And what is in between each picture? Recreating the whole entire world. So to say, on this day, we're re-given the ability to see that we are, okay, you're a man. Hashem created you as a separate entity in this world. You're not one with Hashem. He's up there, and you're down here as an individual, and there's millions and billions of people like you, right? We're all separate. On that day is, again, the test is renewed. The 6th day of creation, the 1st day of the year, right, from Tishrei. Again, the same test, again and again and again. And there's many, many levels of taking upon yourself ol malchut shamayim. And that means to be acting in the will of Hashem, to be clinging to Him, that Hashem is not only the king, but He's the ruler. He's involved in everything that's going on. That's the first level, right? That I recognize I'm a hero creation. Hashem gave me a Torah. I have to follow it. The second level is that the creation nullifies himself to Hashem, right? And he's included in him with love. And we have to emphasize that these two levels, they are two essential. It's not like we can pick one or the other. We need both of them, right? They are two levels and they're progressive levels. That meaning you start in the first, I'm a human being and there's a Torah and I have to follow it. The second level is that I elevate from there, that I have a connection with Hashem and a relationship with Hashem, and it's about Him, and I want to nullify myself and be included in Him. We need both of them. And a Jew has to be holding on to them, both of them, achat achrei hashniya, one after the other. The first one is that right now in Rosh Hashana, the person was created again, and he has to take upon himself the kingship of Hashem, the yoke of the kingship of Hashem. You have to subdue the whole entire reality of you as a creation, and to do only the will of Hashem, and to give Him nachat ruach, right? Yes, you were created. Take all of that and apply it to the fact that you are here to do Hashem's job, right? And the main time to intend this is when we're saying Zochenu l'chaim. Right? In Rosh Hashana, we add different parts to our prayers. One of them is this verse that we say in the Amidah, that is Zochenu l'chaim. Remember us, Hashem, for life. There you should have intention that, yes, Hashem, for life. What is true life? Me living and doing your will. Right? So merit me to live that life. Then you have to have the intention. When you say Zochenu l'chaim, I am receiving upon myself the kingship of Hashem in truth, and I'm going to make a decision to use with all of the powers that Hashem put inside of me, invested in me, only to give honor back to Hashem. There's a reality that I do have power, but whose power is it? Hashem. Hashem gave it to me. I'm going to use everything that I have, every ability that I have in my life to exalt His name, to make sure that He's known more and His honor is increased. And in every single prayer, we go into this work again and again, brand new, and we ask from Hashem, Zochenu l'chaim, may we merit to life, true life, life of doing the will of Hashem with a desire, with passion to do it, a life of dveikut, that the creation is clinging to its creator. And this is what it means, crowning Hashem over us, making Hashem king on the external aspects of our life. And the part that it appears as if I have some kind of power myself. my actions, my doings in this world, my business, my relationships, everything that I do, there I'm trying to crown Hashem over me, right? That everything should be according to His will, and all of my power should be towards Him. And this is the whole entire work of the first tefillah when we say Zochenu L'chaim, right? Remember us for life. The more internal work of crowning Hashem is nullifying yourself to Hashem. After we've done a little bit of that, of Zochenu L'chaim, and crowning Hashem over our actions in this world externally, and there we are, so to say, some kind of separate entity, then we can elevate and go to a higher sense of work, which is obviously much higher. And then we start to scream out to Hashem in truth from the deepest parts of our heart that we do not want to be separate from you at all. I want to live and be completely your reality, not mine. I want to be included in you. I want to be nullified to you, Hashem, because I recognize that you are the only true reality anyway in the world. And this kavanah is the work of the shofar. To crown Hashem internally. It's a recognition that there's nothing in this world at all, ever, in any world, any place, whatever place means, nothing at all besides Hashem. It's all Hashem. And with this recognition, the person goes to ascend, to be included into Hashem, meaning to feel that Hashem is the reality is so strong in him that a person forgets of his own reality. And he doesn't feel himself as something separate. Rather, he's clinging to Hashem at the deepest and most strongest way possible, with emotions and with an intellectual comprehension, until you feel as if you're, so to say, a part of Hashem, meaning that you don't feel yourself as something independent. You're just a tool for Hashem, blessed be He. And He is acting by way of you, illuminating light and bringing you shefa and abundance and life force at all time. Why? In order to reveal by way of us, through us, Hashem's kingship in the whole entire world. And this is the idea of the shofar. The shofar is a scream out to Hashem, a scream without any words. But what is the scream saying if we had to translate it to words? Our will is in you, our King, and we cannot exist without the light of your face, without your countenance. And when we scream this out in truth, then we merit to get to the level of Ashrei ha'am yoder teruah Hashem be'or panecha ya'alechun. Fortunate is the nation who knows what teruah is, who knows what the shofar is. Hashem be'or panecha ya'alechun. Hashem, in the light of your countenance, we shall walk forward. Meaning everything we do in life should be with the recognition of Hashem and the countenance of Hashem. Yoder teruah, what does it mean to know teruah? To feel this scream in our heart at the time of the tkiyah, again and again, that our will completely is to live out the reality that you are King and there's nothing besides you. And even though we were created and we were given an ego, we only want you, only you. And our will is not to have this ego, to not feel separate from you, Hashem. We want to nullify ourselves and we want you to reign over us completely. And then when the nation reveals their love and their loyalty to the King, right? And their emunah that we have, our emunah that we have in Hashem Yitbarach, even though you could have stayed as something separate, so to say. You could have stayed in the external reality. We don't want that. And they're proving that we don't want it. We don't want to leave the King for a minute. Then the King starts to reveal his countenance, starts to reveal his love to his nation. Hashem ba'or panecha ya'alechun. You know what Torah is, you know how to scream to Hashem, I don't want to be separate from you, I want to live my whole entire life with you. Then what does Hashem do? He starts to reveal his love to you. He starts to give you his face, meaning he's paying attention to you and you can see him in every single step of your life. And when the face of Hashem is revealed, meaning the light of Hashem is revealed, then we feel the reality of Hashem in such clarity, and we're clinging to him so much until a person feels that he is not at all some kind of ego, he's not separate at all. Rather, he feels and tangibly feels how Hashem is everything and I'm included in that and I'm nullified to that reality. And this is the feeling that spreads out over the neshama after the blessing of the shofar. Hashem ba'or panecha ya'alechun. Hashem, it's in your countenance that we shall work, right? And we want to feel this, but it's very important that a person who's trying and putting in effort and intending to arouse his heart to feel, right? He should not look at the outcome. We want to go into the world with recognition, and we want to go into the world feeling these emotions of the Yichudim we're about to explain, right? But the goal is never to look at the outcome, to know rather that our job is to put in effort and to try and to want and to ask and to beg Hashem, right? The outcome has nothing to do with us. The feeling itself, the feeling of that, of after the shofar with that clarity, that is a gift. Your job is to try to get there. The rest is a gift, right? And we're going to go now into what is the actual intentions behind each shofar blast. But I want to first tell a little story. When I was in yeshiva, go ahead. You had a question?
Hashem created us as finite beings, so it's so hard to see ourselves as part of the infinite. How does the shofar open that door? How do we, as finite beings, relate to the infinite?
The truth is, like you said, that is the external reality of the world, that Hashem created beings and created a world that seems, so to say, separate, and God is there watching over the world. But that's exactly what we're saying. That's the external reality. You have a soul inside of you that all of the rabbis in the past 2,000 years told you that that soul is a piece of God from up above, right? You choose which reality you want to live in. They're both true. Hashem created a world that has its own existence. He's ruling it, but he's just concealed. Olam from the word ne'elam, right? Concealed, hidden reality. It's just concealed and hidden, but it is the reality that everything is just the light of Hashem. We have to work on with our intellect to know that that's the case. Everything is just the light of Hashem. We know that. Every Jew knows that. The problem is, do we connect it to our heart? And from our heart, does it go down to our actions? Right? The goal is that it should be in our actions as well, not just to stay in our heart. We all know, every Jew that ever learned Torah and keeps Shabbat knows Hashem created the world and that He is the only true reality. The question is, how much do we live it out? By way of doing these contemplations, right? We're going to be downloading that reality more. We haven't gotten into them yet, right? But this is exactly the idea, that by way of understanding what we're about to explain in the shofar, with this whole introduction that we already knew, every Jew already knew this introduction, right? That Hashem created the world and He's the only true reality. Be'ezrat Hashem, we're going to download the ability to live the more internal reality that Hashem is everything and I'm nothing without Him throughout our year, right? But this is the day to do it. So what's the story? When I was in yeshiva a few years ago, back, like 60, 70 years ago, not bad. When I was in yeshiva, when I was in yeshiva, right? It came Rosh Hashana, and in our yeshiva we had Ashkenazi minyan and a Sephardi minyan. Obviously, as a Sephardi, I went to go pray with the Sephardim. I walk in and I see a guy, long jalabia, super holy. You just see this guy super holy, but he came to pray in a very simple yeshiva, so even more holy, right? So I said, I want to sit next to him. Don't know why. Rabbi Nachman says, connect to successful people. This guy looked successful to me. I wanted to sit next to him during Rosh Hashana prayers. When it came time for the shofar, right, in Shacharit, we sit down, and Musaf, we stand up for the shofar, right? But when it came time for the shofar in Shacharit, I was next to him, and I saw he had a bunch of pages, similar to this, but in Hebrew, right, with all different names of Hashem on it. And I knew it was intentions from the Rashash for the shofar. I was like, nice, great. This guy, not only did I want to be next to him, he actually is a Kabbalist. He knows what he's doing. Great. Came time for the blowing of the shofar. I take my talit, put it over my head, right, completely covered up, and I listen. I'm listening to the shofar. From the first blow, I bursted out crying. Mamash, like, like loud, as loud as like the shofar. If you don't hear the shofar, you hear me crying in the whole entire minyan of 100 people, right? You hear me in the shofar, and I can't stop it. It's like uncontrollable crying, right? Afterwards, after all of the blowing the shofar, I take my talit off. I look at my neighbor next to me. I wipe off my tears. I say to him, do you mind if I look at your pamphlets? I just want to look at all the names of Hashem to see. I had no idea, not even close to as much as knowledge as I have now about these things. But I just wanted to look at the names of Hashem. He said to me like this, old man, he says to me, my son, you don't need this. Everything that I'm holding in my hand was to help me to get to the point that you just got to with your cries. So again, the feeling is a complete gift. Our goal, though, is to try to get there, right? But the feeling, the outcome, is not dependent on us at all. So we are about to explain very deep things. On Rosh Hashana, your prayer should be that your heart should be opened, right? And to try to think and have the intention, if you feel it or not, don't feel prideful and don't feel broken. because the feeling itself is a complete gift. Like he told me, right? Me and my innocence as a kid in yeshiva, I got where the Rashash was trying to get all of his students in Kabbalists, right? Again, I'm not patting myself on the back. This is just a story that happened to me, and it was a complete gift from Hashem. So we're going to go into it now, but just keep in your mind again, it's not about the feeling. That would be great, but it's not the goal. The goal is to have the intention and to put in the effort. So we start with Tashrat. If you want, you can pass these out. Right? I made this chart a few years ago. I translated it. There's a chart in the end of the book here with names of Hashem and everything. Whoever wants the Hebrew one afterwards, we can get it. But for now, you have this in English. So we start with Tashrat. If you want, try to listen to me and use this later for yourself, okay? Because it's a little bit more better explained in the book. Tashrat, Tikya Rishona, right? We have the first Tikya. What is Tikya? A long note. Da, right? What's Tikya? Tikya zo ataka me'omek alev shel Hashem yitbarach. It's a scream from the depths of our heart to Hashem. What are we saying? My Father in heaven, I can't do it anymore. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to have an ego separate from you, Hashem. God forbid. I want to nullify myself in the whole entire reality that I feel, and I want just you. Please, Hashem, illuminate upon us your light, that we should merit to tangibly feel you in truth, your truth with complete clarity, and from this to nullify myself to you and to be included into you. And we start to elevate this scream up above, and by way of this scream to Hashem, Hashem goes lekisei rachamim, he goes to his throne of mercy, umeir lanu et shefa panim o panecha, o panav. He starts to bring down the shefa, the light of his countenance. Okay? So what's Tikya Rishona? What's the first Tikya? Hashem, I want you. I don't want to be separate. I don't want to live in the reality that I've been living in. I don't want to feel ego. I don't want all of these things. I want you. And when we scream like that to Hashem, what does Hashem do? He gets up from Kisei Din. He gets up from the throne of judgment. And he goes and he sits down, whatever this means, right? Hashem obviously is not physical. And he sits down on the throne of mercy. And he starts to give over Shefa O Panav, the light, the abundance of the light of his face. This Tikya is the main important Tikya. And from here on, all of the blowing of the shofar, they are levels of download, right? We uploaded our scream to Hashem. Hashem, we want you. From here on out, all the shefa is coming down. Meaning revelation of Hashem down here in this world. First things first, we screamed. Now let's see how Hashem brings down the light. Shvarim. What is shvarim? Dud, dud, dud. 3 sounds, right? Shever means broken. 3 broken parts. Ka'et mitorim adinim. Now we have an arousal of judgments. What is judgments? We had a class on judgments. What does it mean? Judgments, again, gufura, tzimtzum, constriction. It's not that, oh, I'm coming to judge you. It's, I want to give you light, but I created you and I gave you a Torah to follow. How have you as an individual, how have you been acting so that I could match this light specifically for you? I want to give you light, but I can only give you after I check who you are. So let me check who you are. Hashem yitbarach bodek otanu im anu ruim leshefa chadash. Hashem is coming to check us. We just scream to him, right? I want you. I want to live with your face. I want to live in your reality all day long. I don't want to be something separate. So now Hashem comes to check. Are we fitting to receive this new shefa? What's our job to do in this point? להתחזק באש השתוקקות להשם יתברך, ביראת שמיים, בהודעה על האמת שאנו כלום. Our job now, when Hashem comes to check us, is to strengthen with a fire, longing fire and yearning to connect to Hashem, with Irat Shamayim, with the awe and respect of Hashem, and with an admission and a recognition that we are nothing. We're nothing. You're coming to check us? I'm telling you, Hashem, I'm nothing. I'm not something separate. I have no ego. I'm not something different than you. I am one with you. I'm just an extension of your creation. There's a long footnote here on why is Din aroused, but it's pretty much like I said. We call out to Hashem. Hashem wants to test us, right? And to see, I want to give you the light, but how have you been acting? What is your true reality? You want to live as an external person thinking that I do everything? Or do you realize that you're one of me? And if you're one with me, and it's not about individuality, then the oneness can come down, right? So that is Shvarim. What is our job in Shvarim? To show Hashem, I want you. It might seem that I'm not acting like it. It might be that 355 days now I've been completely opposite of living your life and your light and connected to you and doing only your will. Now though, I'm telling you, Hashem, this is what I want. I'm screaming out to you, this is what I want. Then we have Terurah. Terurah is ta 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 ta, right? 9 voices like that. 9 voices like that. What is the idea? I learned once from Rabbi Yehuda Rice in Yerushalayim. He taught that when we look at the word Ra in Hebrew, it means evil or bad, right? But it's not really the case. Ra in Hebrew means fragment. It means a portion. Teruah. What is teruah? The sound ta 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 ta. It's a bunch of fragments. What is a ro'eh? A shepherd. A shepherd takes a bunch of sheep and makes them one, and he is called a ro'eh. Ve'ahavta lere'acha kamocha. What does it mean, re'acha? What do you mean? You loved your evil one like you? There is a Hasidic explanation like that, right? You loved your evil one like you, but that's not it. Hafta re'acha. You loved your fellow as yourself. Why is it called re'acha? Why is the root of that word with ra in it, if that means evil? Because it doesn't. Love the portion of yourself like you love yourself. Who's the portion of yourself? It's your friend. We're all one portion. So when we see things and we see it as ra, from our perception, it looks bad, and we know that only good comes down from Hashem. So what are we really seeing? We're seeing a portion of the picture. And if we were to see the whole picture, we wouldn't see it that way, right? So in Hebrew, ra doesn't mean evil. It means a fragment of the truth, which could appear then as something negative, right? So teruah, what is the ta 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 ta? What is the sound? On the Torah, we are begging Hashem, meya'elelel yeluli, right? It's this cry, lefanav yitbarach. We're crying in front of Hashem that He should have mercy on us and sweeten up the judgments upon us, and He shouldn't look at us as some kind of separate entity. La'amidenu bedin al ma'asenu, to judge us for all of our actions that we've been doing. By way of this, we have an arousal of Hashem's mercy, and He starts to sweeten up the deen upon us, and now He starts to send us the shefa, meaning we scream to Hashem, Hashem, I want to live with you. Then Hashem says, okay, who are you? I say, Hashem, really, no, all I want is you. I only want you. And then what happens after that? We call out to Hashem again, please Hashem, don't judge me as an individual. Please, don't look at all of my actions. Don't do that, please. Hashem, have mercy on me. Look internally at what's going on. I'm just the light of you. Don't judge me as an individual. And from here until the end of all of the tkiyot, the job is to bring in, to lachnis et kol ha-shefa Hashem mashpia alenu, to take all of the shefa that Hashem's giving over to us, the revelation of Hashem and the recognition of His reality, and to let this illuminate into us and to nullify us so that we can be included back into Hashem. And the shefa comes in and it starts to illuminate by way of the 10 sfirot. Within us, within 10 sfirot, that every single one of us is made up of. Now, in every single sfira and sfira, a person has to have intention to feel, right? Shezoh sfira hi ofanan ba'anagat Hashem yitbarach aleinu. Right? This sfira that we're dealing with, we're going to go into it now and we're going to explain it again at the end, right? If something doesn't make sense now, it will come together. From here on out, we're trying to feel emotions based off of the levels, based off the stages. In short, this is what's called yichudim. A yichud is a unification. Kabbalistic meditation practice, that what do? You contemplate a certain name in your head, okay, of Hashem, and according to the name that you're contemplating, you feel an emotion in your heart. Yichud, what are you unifying? You're unifying what you know in your head with the emotions that you feel in your heart. And if you feel an emotion properly, it will have an effect on your actions and how you behave in the world. So now, everything, in the English you don't see it as much, but in the Hebrew I'll show it to you afterwards, everything we're explaining right now is a yichud. There's a certain name of Hashem that is being revealed, and that's how Hashem is ruling the world, expressed by way of that vehicle, that name, that expression. Our job is to contemplate on that name, feel the emotion that's related to that name in our heart, and that is how we can actually start to not just hear some sounds on Rosh Hashana, but to have those sounds affect us internally in our hearts to the point that we act differently, okay? The last tkiyah, after all of the tashrat, right? We're in tashrat, so tkiyah, shvarim, teruah, and then tkiyah again. In this last tkiyah, now you have intention that you are bringing down chokhmah, bina, and dat. Okay, Chabad. What is Chabad? What is chokhmah, bina, and dat? The idea is to feel and to live out godliness with bitul, with nullifying myself. That is the side of chokhmah. Bitbonenut hamivia lishtokekut vitlahavut, with a contemplation that leads me to yearning and passion and excitement. That is bina. And לקבל בפועל למעשה, לקבל, לפעול למעשה עם כל המידות. And to take upon myself to act with all of these midot, that is dat. Okay? So we do tashrat. First things, we're screaming to Hashem, Hashem, we want you. Then Hashem starts to activate din. Who are you? Then you scream back to Hashem, Hashem, no, you're going to look at who I am, but I promise you that's not who I am. I'm one of you. I want you. I only want you. Do not judge me separately. Please, Hashem, have mercy on me. I'm an extension of you in this world, and all of my power is just from you. I might not have acted like that, but right now I'm telling you that's what I want. That is my true desire in my heart. After that, what happens? The download starts to really come down. First step, chokhmah bina dat. Nullify myself, contemplate on you to the point where I want you and all I want is a burning fire desire towards you. And then to take upon myself to act with all of the midot properly. And then we get to tashat. What's tashat? Tikiyah, shvarim, tikiyah. Again. Tikiyah, and the next tikiyah, you have intention to bring inside your soul the light of midav chesed, the loving kindness of Hashem. And arouse upon yourself this feeling of love towards Hashem and Hashem's love towards you from a place of complete nullification, from a recognition in the malchut, the true kingship of Hashem, that there's nothing besides Him, enod milvado. And since enod milvado, since there's nothing besides Hashem, azaya ahava elav hiatzuma, then my love that I have for Hashem, if there's nothing besides Hashem, my love for Hashem is immense. Ki hu chayenu, because He's my whole entire life. From that, we move to shvarim. Again, da, 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 the three sounds, right? Now we want to bring in midat gvura, the awe of Hashem, respect and reverence of Hashem, to arouse ourselves to feel awe and reverence of Hashem. Last kiyah, lachnis et midat tiferet, to bring in the midah of tiferet, the mercy, the rachamim, and the dveikut in Hashem, to cling to Hashem, and arouse inside our heart the desire to cling to Hashem with all of our power, with all of our heart, and to take upon yourself to increase the different ideas and ways to get the dveikut, specifically by way of learning Torah. The number one way to cling to Hashem is learning His book, the will that He put into this world with His soul hidden behind it. You want to cling to Hashem? Open His books, right? So in that last tkiyah, we're having intention to cling to Hashem with all of our might and to improve the different ways through our life that we could cling to Him. Really, he says here, the main thing is Torah learning. But your prayer is a way to get to dveikut. Your eating is an immense way to get to dveikut, right? Talking with friends in a way of emunah and dveikut is a way to get there. There's many different practices that you could do. And then we go to the last set, which is tarat. Tekiyah, Torah, tekiyah, achona. Tekiyah, the first one is to bring down netzach. The idea of netzach is perseverance against the yetzer hara. To be able to fight the yetzer hara and to not get scared, to be stubborn, to be dominant, to have tenacity, to keep pushing, and to not let the yetzer hara take you down for 1 second. And you arouse inside your heart that you want to stand in all of the tests that Hashem's about to put you through. You're going to get through them. Chazak kitzur eitan, strong like a very fortified boulder. Mitoch ne'emanut muchletet LaHashem yitbarach, from a place of complete loyalty to Hashem. Then we have Torah, again, right? The 9 voices. And then we're bringing in Hod. What is Hod? The idea of Hod is to recognize and admit the truth of Hashem, that everything is just Hashem and Hashem is the only one doing anything in this world. And arouse inside your heart the feeling and every single idea of the truth. I want to get to the truth of this idea. And to recognize and to admit in anything that happens to you in life that Hashem is the only one doing it. That person did not come to annoy me. That person was sent by Hashem, and there is no person. It's just Hashem, right? And then we have the last tkiyah. We have the last one is to bring in the midah of yesod. Yesod, the idea is connection and attachment to Hashem. And you have intention to make a brit, to make a covenant with Hashem, and included in this is to connect the whole entire creation back to Hashem, meaning to see the light of Hashem and the hand of Hashem in every single thing I do in life. And in this tkiyah, also have intention in your emotions to receive midat malchut. Malchut, the idea is all malchut shamayim. yoke of Hashem, the fact that we have a Torah to follow, and we have to do the will of Hashem, and have intention to merit, to do actions according to the will of Hashem from a place of emunah, and to reveal the reality of Hashem in the world and every single thing that you're going through. And all of this is from a place of feeling the closeness of Hashem, right? Is Hanan here? So just to summarize everything we said. The work of the shofar is to feel and to scream out to Hashem that our will is not to be separate from Hashem at any moment. Rather to feel His face, to feel the countenance of His face, the shining of Hashem, and to live only connected to Hashem Yitbarach. And this is our scream with the shofar. Our will is to see the face of Hashem, to see the countenances of Hashem. And we want the shefa to come into us by way of the shofar, and to merit to live the unity and the oneness of Hashem, clinging to Him, nullified to Him completely, ad shemamash nichlal bo, until we're mamash included into Hashem. Be'ol panecha yalechun. We will walk forward in your face. There's so much more here. Whoever wants to learn this more in depth, come to the shir tonight. We're going to go really long and take a lot of time tonight at 9 o'clock, and we're going to go into all the fine details. Right now, we have with us Shlomo, a fellow here from the Al-Shech Academy, that is going to give us a demonstration of the blowing of the shofar. Guys, look into this. Take a while. Bezat Hashem, right? That was a demonstration of the blowing of the shofar, but obviously we have to do the inner way to connect it all. Thank you guys. Baruch Adonai Leolam. Amen v'amen.